Hello everybody and welcome to the batch review for the Gintama Feature Festival. There's also a little bit of news to talk about before we get into the batch review. I know I said I was going to do a batch review for every batch and then immediately did one and didn't do another. And this is the first one I've done since. Basically I missed the Dark Heroes batch. There's not much point in me doing it now because those units aren't available anymore. But if you want to know, Muzan for a limited is pretty good. Dio is very good. And of the other units, there were some pretty decent ones. But I mean, there's like I said, there's not much point in me going into it because the units are all unavailable. So maybe another time, or if they return or something like that. But today, first off, we have news. So the first bit of news is all the Genkai battles are returning on JP. We have Meruem right now, and the other three seemingly are scheduled because the gacha to counter them are all scheduled. And based on the fact that the gacha are all scheduled, it would suggest that they're all going to happen during this Gintama event before the next event starts. So, kind of cool, I guess. I should be able to beat at least Meruem and Saga, but so far I haven't been able to crack Meruem. I'm hoping Saga I'm going to be able to finally beat. But we shall see. We have the birthdays of Tanjiro, Ichigo, Deku, all coming. I don't know the dates off the top of my head, but they'll all be coming. And when they do come through, I think we're going to get a free My Hero Academia gacha ticket for Deku, a free Bleach ticket for Ichigo, and a free Kimetsu no Yaiba ticket for Tanjiro. Also, all their gachas will return. So the Tanjiro Dance of the Fire God gacha, the Vasto Lord Ichigo gacha, and the Deku and Eri gacha. Interestingly, Ichigo is only returning as Vasto Lord, even though there are two other limited Ichigo. Are there two other or three other? I'm questioning myself. I think there's two other. I think there's only two other. So what does that mean for those other two? I don't know, but we're going to be getting a free multi on each of those banners. So good luck everybody. Hopefully you can all get at least lucky on one of them and get yourself a new limited. But I'm not getting my hopes too high. I don't want to get my hopes too high. We also have a limited gacha coming back that I don't really know what it's about. It's got Gold Seiya, Netero Hiei, and the Namek Goku. Like I said, I don't like. It's one limited of each type. It's got one older limited, but the older limited is in the form of Golden Seiya, who is very, very good. And yeah, I really don't know what to make of it. The only thing I can think is Hiei was supposed to be good against Ryzen, and Ryzen's going to be coming back. Netero is good against Meruem, and he's coming back. Gold Seiya is good against Saga, he's come back. And Namek Goku good against Frieza, he's come back. I assume that's why they've done this, but seemingly this gacha is going to be gone. Or this gacha is not going to start until after Meruem's gone. I don't know that for sure, but I haven't seen the gacha announced in-game yet, so I don't know. I don't know. It's a bit weird, but I guess this was the only way they could do it without, like, rinsing people. Maybe like having 4 limited gacha on, plus having the birthday gacha on, plus having whatever gacha they have from the Gintama event. All a little bit strange, but probably going to be a very nice gacha. 7 multis guaranteeing you one of those 4 legends, and if you don't have any of them, even Gold Seiya, who is easily the oldest and most outdated of the legends, is still very good. So, hey, not bad to pull on. Now, that's basically it for JP. The only other thing for JP is that there was a stream scheduled that got taken down. It was obviously put up by accident, and the stream was scheduled with the title or with the information Saint Seiya Feature Festival, and it said it'd be happening 12th of August, or like the stream was scheduled for 12th of August. Now, the reason that's interesting is because we haven't had the Saint Seiya Feature Festival on JP yet. We have had it on Taiwan. 12th of August would put it about 2 events distance away from the end of the Gintama event. There'll be time for 2 more events in between there. And it's a live stream. So, we had a live stream for Dark Heroes. That would mean no live stream for Gintama, No live stream for what we assume is the One Piece Feature Festival coming after Gintama. And no live stream for whichever event comes after that, which could be an ensemble, could be a summer event, could be another feature festival. We don't know. I think a lot of people have been assuming it'll be Golden Wind, but we've assumed Golden Wind would come before and it didn't, so we don't know. However, there's a lot to speculate here. One of the things that was pointed out to me, the person who first sent this to me on Discord said, what if the date of the live stream, it was not just published at the wrong time, but they also put the wrong time in the information, and it was not the 12th of August, but rather the 12th of July that the live stream was supposed to happen, which would be about on time for the end of this event. I'd have to double check, but it would basically be like the day before the end of this event. So the live stream would happen, then the next event would start. If that was the case, that would make a lot of sense. Get a live stream for this event coming up, and say. I think that could be the case, but at the same time, One Piece Day, are they really going to skip that? Probably not. I don't know. A lot of things to think about though, and if you're a Saint Seiya fan, maybe a time to save. Maybe time to save. Now, the news from Taiwan has left me quite interested. They've got the Dragon Ball Feature Festival starting up right now, but the the Chrollo and the Kurapika that they tease is nowhere to be seen. More interestingly, the Gon and the Razor that we got for our anniversary are nowhere to be seen. I predict that when we get the Saint Seiya Feature Festival, Taiwan is going to be getting an exclusive Hunter x Hunter Feature Festival, which, yes, will have Razor and Gon, which we do have, but we'll have a bunch of other content that we do not have. There's not really much more to speculate about that because we don't have any other information, but that's just something that came to my head. So something to keep an eye out for. And yeah, there's not much else to say about the news, so let's just get into the unit reviews. Boop. There we go. So, let's start off with the limited. Let's start off with Kagura. Now, Kagura, in my opinion, is, as far as the limited goes, pretty good. I think the main thing to me that stands out is the free turn attack boost for herself, a 32%, 40% at max skill level. That 40% stacking up to 3 turns is 120% attack boost if you ult 3 turns in a row. In addition to that, you have an unconditional attack boost on the passive, which, assuming you're at max level, is 16%. And on top of that, you have a conditional ultimate attack damage boost. So obviously HP has to be over 50% for this, but that's an additional 12% boost. Honestly, you could be doing a lot of damage with her. Like, the thing that's pretty cool is she's going to do a lot of damage, not just to enemies that have the counter attack damage buff, which is her, you know, the thing that she does more damage to. But you're going to be doing quite a lot of damage in general. I think she's going to be hitting quite hard. She's going to be quite good. Long term, I'm a little bit conflicted because I feel like she would be... See, I'm always torn on this. Would she be better if she removed counter attack? Because she inflicts more damage to counter attack. You're going to want to, with the way her skill set is set up, keep hitting, keep hitting. And if you're going to keep hitting, you want them to keep having whatever their condition is that makes you do more damage. So they've got counter attack up. You want them to keep that counter attack up so you keep doing as much damage as possible. But at the same time, you're leaving yourself open to get counter attacked and you're going to take a lot of damage. So I'm a little bit conflicted on it. But she is by no means a bad unit. She is a good unit, for sure, for sure. She's going to do a lot of damage. And for this stage specifically, as usual, the stage she counters, which is Arbuto, she is going to do a lot of damage if you pull her. Another thing that's pretty good, specifically for Arbuto, yes, but it will be good in some other stages. She converts 1 red, 1 yellow, and 1 block to a rainbow. And that is 1 of each, not 1 total. So that is 3 total, assuming they have a red, a yellow, and a block on the board. That's going to allow you to make quite a lot of connections on the board quite easily. That is assuming that you're playing on a stage where block orbs do appear, which is not every stage, but I mean, it's become more common in PvE. It has become more common. And her buddy skill, creating a skill bubble, always good. She also creates 3 blue bubbles. Does that go up to 5? That goes up to 5 blue bubbles from green bubbles. And will boost the appearance rate of blue bubbles. Quite a common theme for limited is the buddy skill will create a skill bubble, which is something that is quite a common thing, you know, like standard gacha units do it, event units do it, loads of units do it, but they will have at least 1 or 2 more things on top of that. And I think that's quite nice. You get a skill bubble with decent base damage, you're getting some extra bubbles converted to help you with some more connections, and boosting the appearance rate of blue bubbles, which on certain stages is quite huge. Having appearance rate boost can be quite huge. So all in all, I'd say a pretty decent unit. And I don't know. For me personally, she doesn't stand out as much as some limiteds do, but she's kind of special in the sense that she has got her own specific skill set to stack damage for herself. She's not specifically a buffer. Like, she's not going to be helping out her teammates to like them do more damage. But she has a lot of little bits to her kit that's going to let her do a lot more damage. So, in optimal setup, she's going to do good damage. And, I don't know. I think if you like the character and you've pulled for her, you haven't got a bad unit. So, you should be happy. Now, we will move on to the standard gacha. I would say the unit that stands out most to me is Kamui. So, I'm going to do him last. And we'll start off with Tsukuyo. This is the character I got from my ticket. If you're wondering what I got from the Gintama tickets and the Shinsengumi rosters and the Kabuki Town flyers, I got nothing. I got nothing. I didn't get a single 5-star. It doesn't seem that bad, but when you look in your box and you've just got rows and rows and rows of Kagaras and Shinpachis, oh my god, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. But I did buy the ticket that lets you get a guaranteed new gacha unit, and I got Tsukuyo. And I'm not too disappointed. I think out of the units, she probably had the best general use. But I mean, we'll talk about that. So, her ultimate attack inflicts damage that ignores damage reduction, and deals additional damage to damage reduction. I think damage reduction, out of the 3 debuffs that the standard gacha units counter, I think damage reduction is the most common. So she's good in that regard. I assume she is specifically supposed to be countering... Wait, who is she supposed to be countering? She's green. Is it Ito or is it Hosen? I don't know. Hosen... Yeah, she must be countering Hosen. So he's probably going to have damage reduction, so she's going to be good for that. And you can see by her by her passive, she's going to reduce buddy skill seal by 2 and an unconditional ultimate attack damage buff. Unconditional buff's always good, but her removing buddy skill seal is quite nice because I fucking hate buddy skill seal. It was one of the most annoying debuffs, just because it feels like if you get weakened, you just use the support that gets rid of weakening. But if you have buddy skill seal and they seal the supports that get rid of buddy skill seal, you have to rely on the characters that have abilities like this to stop them from being sealed. And if they seal all 3 slots, even a character like this is only going to remove the seal on 2. So if that one character you needed to not be sealed is sealed, you're fucked. You're fucked. So, I don't like the debuff. I like that she is going to help get rid of it. Any stage, like, I was not looking forward to this Unity battle. After we had that All Might one, it was nice and easy. I knew that this one was going to suck. And the worst part is, the bonus Unity battles have better rewards. And they are easier to hit the top rewards. And then these standard ones are harder. The rewards are worse, but it's like, oh, but you get a copy of Hosen or whatever. It's like, yeah, cool, but fuck, man. I like the bonus one. I like the easy one. Now, her buddy skill is seemingly quite specifically aimed towards PvP, which, as you know, I'm not a big PvP fan. But I would say that as far as a PvP support goes, it's pretty decent. 4 turns of ultimate attack damage buff and 4 turns of ultimate attack damage buff for the buddies. First one's for green team members and the second one's for the buddy. Very good simply because if you are going to be running a mono team in PvP, then that green buff in addition to the buddy buff is going to be huge because the buddy buff sticks through all 4 team members in PvP. So if you use this on your first team member and all 4 of your team members are green, you're going to get the 53% for the buddy, and because they're all green, you're going to get the 15% for green team members, which for an ultimate attack damage buff is pretty big. So pretty nice, pretty nice. I think she's pretty good. I think she, you know, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. Although I will say at first she wasn't my... I really wanted to get Yagyu Kyubey. And I didn't. It's a shame. But but as far as skill sets go, she's good. And I don't mind the sprite. So I'm okay with it. Now, with Kyubey, inflicting damage that ignores guard and boosted damage to guard. You may have noticed none of these units remove the debuffs. The limited doesn't, the standard gaches doesn't. None of them are negating the enemy debuffs. So, by leaving that debuff on, it's allowing you to do more damage, but they do not negate it. And in a way, with something like counter-attack, like Kagura's got, you might want to keep that on. But with something like guard, unless you have a team full of units that ignore guard, it's kind of tricky because if you're not removing the guard, then yes, you're doing... This unit ignores guard. This unit does boosted damage to guard. But unless all your other units do that, they're going to be doing much less damage. Much less damage. So it's a tricky situation. But I think we're getting to the point where you can pretty much field a whole team full of units that ignore guard. I don't know if we've got full for each mono team, if we've got that, but we're definitely getting there regardless. So maybe it's okay. And I think are there any units that remove guard? I'm not sure. I can't think off the top of my head. They probably are though. They probably are. But I think, you know, pretty good. Pretty good. Is going to be good against Silverman, which obviously, you know, similar thing. He puts up guard, so that's what she could be good for. But she's meant to counter Bonsai, which we don't have the full information on just yet. So I don't really know what to expect from that stage because it's not actually a catastrophe stage like Takasugi is, even though it's set up in the same way. So I assume she's not going to be that vital. So we'll see. We'll see. The passive is, again, unconditional ultimate attack damage buff. I'm never going to complain about that. And the unit is immune to bubble extension. Immunities are pretty nice, but bubble extension typically is an immunity rather than a reduction. I can't think of a unit that reduces it off the top of my head, except like as a support skill or whatever. So I don't know. I think she's pretty good as a front line for certain stages, but guard not quite as common as damage reduction. So it's kind of like a toss-up. And as for the support, boost yellow team members' attack and boost the attack of DPS. I'm not as big a fan of this sort of support as I am of, say, Sukiyo's, I don't really know what the purpose of these supports are. I'm sure there is one, and I'm sure that she's perfectly good in certain situations, but to me, this just doesn't seem that good. I don't know. Probably just me. Probably something I'm missing, but like, yeah, sure. If you add it up, that's a lot of attack boost, but it's only for 2 turns, which I mean is good in some situations, but I don't know. I just don't like those supports. I'm sure they have their uses. I just don't like those kinds of supports. And finally, we have Kamui, which, like I said, I think he is probably the strongest of the batch. I think Sukiyo has my favorite kit, but I think Kamui is objectively probably the best of the batch. Inflicts additional damage to auto heal. Like I said, all of these units have a similar sort of style. They inflict boosted damage to a certain debuff. The support converts 1 block bubble into a blue bubble and boosts unconditional armor attack damage. It's okay. That particular part of his passive kind of makes him a little bit weaker as a front line because, you know, you could have had an immunity or something, which I think Sukiyo is, you know, she reduces buddy skill seal. Kyubey has an immunity. So Kamui doesn't have that. So going forwards, it's not going to be quite as good in the future. But the buddy skill is interesting to me. Converts 1 red bubble to a skill bubble, absorbs that skill bubble, and for 2 turns, it doesn't have to be that skill bubble, just has to be a skill bubble of this unit's buddy. And for 2 turns, boosts the recovery and ultimate attack damage of blue team members. Now, the percentage is not that high, it's only 19%, but it is an ultimate attack damage boost and a recovery boost and the creation and absorption of a skill bubble. For me, all of those things together in a support skill is very good. There is going to be so many stages in the future where that is good. There's not going to be a stage where that, like, you're bringing a team and you want to use a skill bubble creator where that's a bad idea. Because you're going to be getting that additional bonus. Unless it's a stage where you don't have any red bubbles or something. Other than that, that is sick. In my opinion, that could be very useful. Especially on stages where you want to run a buffer. And you want to guarantee that buffer gets a go first. Use this to make sure the buffer goes first. And you're getting an ultimate attack damage boost and a recovery boost too. Very, very good in my opinion. Very, very good. It's only 11 turn cooldown as well. Very, very good. Who else do we have from this batch? We're on to the free units now. We've got 4 free units. From what I've seen, they're not that good. They're just not that good. We have Toshi, Hijikata Toshiro. Inflicts damage. He is a buffer. So to be fair, his front line is not bad. He is a buffer. He inflicts damage and he boosts attack for green members for 1 turn. Not bad. That part alone, not bad. His passive skill reduces buddy skill seal by 1 and unconditional attack buff. It's okay. He by no means is bad as a 99 luck lead, and if you don't have some of the other potentially more optimal green 99 luck leads, he is an option, and he's not hard to get to 99 luck. But I don't know. I feel like My Hero Academia had some fucking amazing free-to-play units. He's good. He's good. He's just good. Now, his support is a little bit... I don't know how I feel about these supports. Supports that reduce buddy skill seal. Because if you are a buddy, if you're in the support slot and you get sealed, then you can't use this ability anyway. So it's pointless. There are situations where you could definitely use it if you know enemies have certain patterns of how they seal characters, or if you have a character that reduces buddy skill seal or something. Like, there are certain setups. I would like this more if it reduced buddy skill seal for all green team members. It only reduces it for the buddy, so for me that's not that great. And for 1 turn, reduce the number of bubbles required to hit a skill bubble by 1 for green team members. And it goes up to by 2 at max level, but it's only for 1 turn. That sucks. That sucks. Look, it's good because it gets rid of bubble extension that's been inflicted on you. It's good in that regard. but it's in general it's not very good. One turn bubble reduction is not very good. We have, let's move on to Yamazaki. This is a pure free unit, you know. You don't have to farm an event to get him, you just have to do certain challenges. And because of that, I did not expect him to be very good. And his front line is kind of a poor man's Kamui, because he's doing the same thing, just on a lower damage scale. So he could be a good 99 luckily to run on Abuto. That's assuming you can get to 99 luck for Abuto stage, because you need to clear certain missions that are not available yet. So you'll be able to do it for the latter half of the event, I suppose. His passive has a counter guard, which again makes him pretty good for Abuto. And he reduces damage received for blue team members by a very small amount. A negligible amount. I don't think it's going to be that noticeable. It's not necessarily going to help you clear any stages, but potentially a good 99 luck lead for Abuto if you don't have any other better options. His buddy skill converts 3 block bubbles to red bubbles. Wait, what? 3 block and 3 red to blue. That's what I mean. 3 block. I read that wrong. And for 3 turns, boost ultimate attack damage of blue team members by 12%. It's okay. The buff is quite small, but it's an 8-turn cooldown, which is not that long. And you get some bubble conversion. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. Specifically for certain stages, like, I think once again, Abuto could see some use because it's converting 3 block and 3 red. So that is getting 6 blue bubbles on certain stages. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not good. I feel like sometimes we have an event come along and a free units. I'm just like, yo, I might be limit breaking them. I might be limit breaking them. That one looks good. That one looks good. This event didn't really feel like it was one of those. I'm sorry, Gintama fans. To be fair, we don't know what Bonsai does yet. And wait, is he the only other unit? Oh, and we don't know what Hosen does yet. So maybe they're good. Maybe they're good. So for Ito inflicts damage that ignores guard, which is not great. I mean, it's okay, but he's probably not going to be very optimal to run as a 99 luck lead. His passive boosts his own attack by a small amount, and when HP is 65 or less, convert 1 block to yellow. Again, it's not great for me. Converting 1 block to 1 yellow, I mean, it's a very specific scenario you have to be in where your HP is 65% or less, and there is a block bubble on the board, and you get 1 yellow bubble out of it. That's kind of weak. That's kind of weak. Unconditional attack buff's cool. It's not that high, but whatever. And the buddy skill, I don't get this one at all. 6 turns attack buff for yellow and blue, and 6 turns ultimate attack damage buff for yellow and blue, both by very small amounts on a 9-turn cooldown. I suppose this could be good for Unity Battle, but I feel like if you were trying to aim for high damage, it wouldn't be optimal. Unless, like, maybe if you put him, like, the 3rd slot of whoever you're going to be bursting with, and you used him 6 turns ahead of you actually bursting, because whoever you're bursting with can't have anything to use on the turn you're bursting, because you need to burst with that unit. So in that respect, maybe, but for me it's not great. And it's yellow and blue, and Hosen is yellow, so he's not going to be good for Hosen anyway. So I don't know. For me, not a great unit. Not a great unit. And then we have Abuto, who is the catastrophe for this event. Again, we don't know what Bonsai does, so potentially he's good, but we know he's not a catastrophe now, so whether he's good or not, I don't know. But generally speaking, a catastrophe would probably be the stronger of the units, the 3 units from an event, except obviously Unity Battle, but again, we don't know what Hosen does. Abuto is kind of like a poor man's Kagura. He doesn't have the additional buff part of her ultimate attack, but he does have the self-buff part. So his damage is probably going to be pretty okay for a free unit. I mean, 315% plus the 3 turns 22% attack buff. You stack that up to 66% in 3 turns. He's going to be doing okay. He's going to be doing okay. And as for his support, I love a unit that reduces bomb damage, because bombs are another debuff I hate, especially on stages like, I think it was the Medora Kata stage, was an absolute nightmare, because I only had like one unit in Muzan who reduced the damage entirely, and everyone else was still taking damage even with their bomb damage reduction, and it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. So good to have, always good to have. I don't know what stages are green that inflict bombs. I'm trying to think of one. I can't really think of one right now. I'm sure there are some, but I can't think of any. Regardless, he's got to be good for that stage. He's got an unconditional attack buff, small as it may be. Will still be good, especially in addition to his self-buffing ultimate attack. And as for his buddy skill, reduces the number of turns of Awakening for red team members by 1. And for 1 turn, reduce the number of bubbles required to clear a skill bubble for red team members by 3 at max level. My opinion on this is, it's definitely, like I said, when you're doing skill bubble reduction for 1 turn, it kind of sucks, but it's a little bit better in the sense that he's getting rid of weakening, and there's going to be lots of stages where you need to get rid of more than 1 weakening. You'll have to get rid of like 3, and a lot of units will only do 1 or 2, so you'll have to use 2 at once. Potentially he's good in a scenario like that. I mean, any units to get rid of weakening, it's pretty good utility to have. Personally, for me, just that skill bubble reduction, bro, I don't care about reducing it by 3. Make it 2 turns by 1 and I'm happy. 2 turns reduced by 1, that's a very good support. But for me, it's just good. It's good utility to have. And I don't know, as far as the units go from this batch, they're not as bad as I maybe initially made out, but some of them, like Ito in particular, are quite lacking in ways that they didn't really need to be. But he's like basically transcendent level, even though he's part of a story event, so I don't know what I really expected. As far as the gacha units go, I think they're all pretty good at what they do. Not that many like super standouts to me from this event though. Not many super standouts. Anyway, that's the end of this unit review. Just remember, this is just my like rough opinions on this stuff. Obviously, I'm not like a top tier player or anything. Just because I work on the database doesn't mean I know what I'm talking about. I'm just going through my rough opinions of what the units are like. And that's gonna do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll do another news video, unit review, etc. for the next event, whenever that may be. So I will see you then.